In this short video, let's learn how to find the error for the approximation, in this case trapezoidal method. So we are given a function 3e to the minus x over 4. Integral is from 0 to 6, and we are using 20 subintervals and trapezoidal method to approximate this integral, right? So we already approximated it, and now we are asked to find the worst error of this approximation. So what is the worst mistake we made by using approximation? As you remember, since we're not finding exact answers because we don't use integration, approximation gives us some error. So what is this error? Well, trapezoidal method has a formula for the error bound. The worst error will be less or equal this formula, capital MB minus A cubed over 12n squared. B minus A are pretty straightforward, so let's write down what we know. A is 0, B is 6, so B minus A is the length of the interval. N is number of subintervals, we're given 20, so we have everything except M, and M is the hardest part to find. M is explained as the least upper bound for all absolute values of second derivatives of the function on the interval AB. Let's explain what it means. First of all, we're going to find second derivatives of the function, which means if f of x, well, let's write it down, y to be faster, y equals 3e to the minus x over 4, then y prime is 3 copy e minus x over 4 times chain rule says derivative of the minus x over 4, which gives you minus 1 over 4. Chain rule. Now we need second derivative. Second derivative is repeat the whole process. So let's simplify. If we want to, minus 3 over 4 e to the minus x over 4, this second derivative will be minus 3/4 e to the minus x over 4 times, chain rule happens again, minus 1/4, chain rule. This is second derivative of the given function inside of the integral. Now we need to plug either A or B. So let me, write it down. A is 0 or B is 6. How to choose what we need to plug? We need to plug whatever makes second derivative bigger. Whatever makes y prime bigger, larger, the biggest, yeah? The largest number, the biggest. That is because we want to find the worst scenario for the error. What is the worst error in our case? And because this number goes into numerator of the formula, the worst one should be considered. So if I plug B and it gives me a smaller error, that's not good. Then I plug A. If A gives me a smaller error, that's not good either. And then I plug B. I want to know what is the worst situation so I can provide it to other scientists and tell them the worst case scenario, we must stop by 30% or 1.5% or 13%, but it has to be the worst case. Anyways, let's call this equation star. Let's see. On 0 and 6, let's just look at e to the minus x to the 4, so this part. E to the minus x to the 4 is a decreasing function, so the biggest number you plug, the smaller the result is going to be. E to the minus x over 4 can be seen as 1 over e x over 4. Now you see what I mean. If I plug huge numbers, e to the huge numbers is huge, but 1 over huge is small. Thus, plugging 6 will make it smaller than plugging 0. Let's see. Let's erase this phrase because it has nothing to do with what I just wrote. I would say since e to the minus x over 4 decreases, and you can see it this way, Then on 0, 6, we should plug a equals 0, the smallest number, will give you the highest output. Well, let's see. Second derivative at 0 becomes minus 3/4 times minus 1/4 times e to the 0. E to 0 is 1. Minus minus gives you plus. So it is 3/16 times 1. Times 1. And that is m. Pay attention that in other notations, m is k, sometimes it's k1, k2, k2 represents second derivative, and so on. Somehow people did not agree on the notation for this m. So now let's calculate what we have. Error for the method, the worst error for the method. So error for the T20 will be, the worst error still will be less than this worst scenario we just found. M is 3/16. M is 3/16 all over b minus a cubed. Let me plug slowly. 6 minus 0 cubed. This formula is coming from a derivation of from the method. Over 12n squared. 1220 squared. You can check it in the book if you want to know where did this formula come from. Now, we can simplify everything and calculate. So it is exactly 3/16. 16 goes to the denominator. 12 is in denominator. 20 squared is still there, times 6 cubed, which is 0. Let's do approximate, which is approximately 0.0084375. I highly recommend to approximate the answer at the very end. Don't approximate it too early. So for example, maybe you wanted to approximate 3/16. Well, maybe don't do that, because then you will cut something too much. And then when you multiply by the cut later, more decimals will get lost on the way. So approximate everything on the very end. I also want to point out that if this number is negative, we were told to use absolute values, because in the formula they are absolute values. So that means don't use negative numbers. Error is a positive number. We messed up by 5%, 0.7%. We don't mess up by negative 13%. So make sure that you remember, use absolute value of 3/16, which is 3/16. That is in the case you got negative in some other example. Now, what I wanted to mention after this was that different methods have different formulas for the error bound, and they were derived through the theory, through the derivatives. If you remember, maximum, minimum are found through derivatives, and which derivative gives you the best approximation. So we know that second derivative is used for the trapezoidal rule, and then there are other formulas. Midpoint rule has different formula. Simpsons rule has different formula as well. And also, when it comes to approximation, overestimation, or underestimation, you should check the graph. If graph is concave down, then, like in this example, look at the trapezoidal rule. Then trapezoidal rule, because it makes this cut as a trapezoid, right? As you can see, white empty places gives you the understanding that this approximation will be underestimation. If your function is concave up, then trapezoidal rule might look, well, let's do serious, like so. Might look like this, and that will be overestimation. So underestimation and overestimations are coming from the shape of the graph. Concave up, concave down, cusps or no cusps, those are sharp angles, and so on. Midpoint rule is harder to tell if it's underestimation or overestimation, because it overestimates and underestimates at the same time. So it kind of averages the situation up. So it also depends on the graph of the function, how sharp it is, and so on. And Simpsons rule use quadratic approximation, not Simpsons. So that is just a joke. Final thing to mention in your notes is that the arrow bound for midpoint rule also includes this m, and m for both trapezoidal rule and midpoint rule using second derivative, absolute values of second, well, let's not do minus or something. Let's just write down second derivative, absolute value of second derivative. While for Simpsons rule, which is pretty awesome, it uses fourth derivative. 4 in parentheses means derivative, not raised to the 4. Uses 4 derivatives over a and b. And again, we want to find maximum value, right? So maximum value of this function on, let's just write down, on AB. For each case, it might be different, right? We now know that. And also, one more interesting note to write down, that even though we have this formula for Simpsons rule error is connected to error for the other two, which is Simpsons rule 2n. N is number subinterval. So if we had 20 in this example, now we have 40. Equals 2/3 m sub n plus 1/3 t sub n. And again, you can check the derivation. How is it possible? But very interesting that there is a connection. Let me make it fat green. There's a connection between these two methods and the Simpsons rule. So all three are connected. Basically, Simpsons rule may be obtained from the midpoint trapezoidal rule by using a weighted average. Well, that's all I wanted to tell you about this example and errors of those 3 amazing methods. All of them are pretty well known around the world and highly useful, especially Simpsons rule. Thank you for watching.